Addiction number 1, the compulsive tab hoarding. Look at your browser right now. Yes, go ahead. Count the tabs. I'll wait. If you have more than 20,
Wait a minute.
and you can't close them because
I might need that stack later.
congratulations, you have tab hoarding disorder. Here is the fucked up thing. You are not keeping those tabs open because they're useful. You're keeping them open because your brain has learned that closing a tab feels like losing knowledge. It's a form of scarcity mindset applied to information. There is actual research on this. The average knowledge worker switches between tasks every 3 minutes. Every time you look at a tab, you do a tiny context switch, and each switch costs you about 20 minutes to fully refocus. The addiction gets worse when you add a second monitor. Now you have tabs on the left for work and tabs on the right for research, but really it's just chaos with a nicer view. Addiction number 2. The IDE setup. I have a friend. Not me, a friend. This friend spends more time configuring his editor than actually editing. New theme?
Yes.
New font?
Yes.
New extension for rainbow brackets?
Yes.
Another extension to show git blame inline?
Yes.
A third extension to manage the first 2 extensions? Also yes. Then he takes a screenshot and posts it on Twitter with the caption, Productivity Setup 2026. You believe that the perfect tool will make you a perfect programmer. It won't. It's the same reason people buy a $500 mechanical keyboard and then type the same slow code. The tool is not the bottleneck. Your brain is. This addiction is especially dangerous because it feels productive. Oh, I'm optimizing my workflow. No, you're avoiding the hard part, sitting down with a blank file and actually solving a problem. Addiction number 3, the refreshing addiction. Raise your hand if you have ever watched a build for more than 30 seconds without touching anything. Okay, put your hand down. You're lying. The refreshing addiction is the crack cocaine of programming.
Tight, yeah!
You kick off a CI job. You know it takes 4 minutes, but you still refresh the page at 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute. You tell yourself you're just checking early. No, you are chasing a dopamine hit. Every time you see build passed in green, your brain gives you a tiny squirt of reward chemical. That's the same mechanism as a slot machine. The worst version of this is when you deploy to production. You hit the button, and then you sit there refreshing the error tracking dashboard, the metrics page, the logs. You're not even sure what you're looking for. You just need to know. And here's the really strange part. Even when nothing is broken, you feel anxious because your brain got used to the adrenaline of, oh shit, fire, during on-call. So now you manufacture emergencies by checking things that don't need checking. Addiction number 4, the just one more test spiral. This one is going to hurt. You have a feature, it works, the tests pass, the code review is approved. All you have to do is merge and go home. But you open the test file anyway and you think, what about that edge case? What if the user passes a negative number? What if the API returns null? So you write one more test, then another. Then you refactor the original test because it's not comprehensive enough. 3 hours later, you have 30 new tests. The feature is still not merged and you haven't eaten dinner. This is not diligence. This is anxiety dressed up as quality assurance. The addiction here is the illusion of control. You think if you write enough tests, nothing will ever break. That is a lie. Production will always find a way to surprise you. Always. No amount of unit tests can simulate a real user with a shitty network, a hacked browser, and a cat walking on the keyboard. Tests are insurance, not armor. Insurance is there to limit damage, not prevent all damage. You cannot write your way to safety. You can only ship, monitor, and fix. That is the real job. And for the love of God, stop writing tests for getters and setters. That's just programming masturbation. Addiction number 5, the perfect commit obsession. You know who I'm talking about. Maybe it's you.
What the hell are you talking about?
You spend 15 minutes rewriting a commit message. Fixed bug becomes resolved null pointer exception in user auth flow by adding defensive check. And then you rewrite it again because the tense is wrong. Or worse, you won't push a commit unless every test passes, every lint rule is happy, and the coverage is at 99%. That sounds responsible, but here is the addiction. You use perfectionism to avoid finishing. The real name for this is productive procrastination. You tell yourself you're being professional, but really you're scared of someone looking at your code and saying, this is ugly? So you polish the shit out of the commit message because you can't control the code quality yet. I've seen developers spend 2 hours crafting the perfect git rebase-i history, squashing, reordering, renaming. Meanwhile, the feature is still not shipped. The customer is still waiting. Addiction number 6, the documentation rabbit hole. You need to use a new library, something simple. Maybe a date formatter. So you open the docs, You read the Getting Started section, then you click on Advanced Usage, then API Reference, then you're reading about how the library handles time zones in Antarctica. 3 hours later, you have not written a single line of code. You now know the entire history of the library's V2 migration, but you still don't know how to format a date. This is the documentation rabbit hole. It's a form of analysis paralysis where research becomes the substitute for action. Your brain loves it because learning feels safer than doing. Doing might produce errors. Reading produces no errors and no results either. The addiction is especially bad for senior devs. You've been burned before by choosing the wrong library, so now you need to be absolutely sure before you write one import statement. But here's the truth. You will never be sure. Every library has bugs. Every abstraction leaks. You cannot read your way to certainty. Yeah, I've yapped enough for today. See you in the next one. And hit that fucking subscribe before YouTube algorithm decides to cook my channel.